Assalamu alaikum students. In this video we will learn about punctuation and types of punctuation. First we will understand what punctuation is and why it's required, and we will look types of punctuation. First, the punctuation is the right use of the stops in a sentence. As you all know that in spoken English, we know where to pause or bring an emotion by changing the tone of our voice. But in written English, it's with the help of these punctuations that we can bring pauses and write correct English without making a mistake. Now we know what punctuation is. Now we will look at the types of punctuations. There are two types of punctuations. One is terminal punctuation, second is post punctuation. Terminal punctuation uh, means these punctuation marks are used at the end of a sentence. Okay, so terminal punctuation marks are used to end sentences. These are full stop, exclamation mark, and question mark. Second is pause punctuation. Pause punctuation mark means that mm, there are marks which tell you to stop, pause, take a moment, and then continue the sentence. These are comma, colon, semicolon. Okay, and there is one more exclamatory mark, that is extra. We will discuss these punctuation marks one by one. Let's look at the full stop first. In British English, it's known as full stop, but in American English, it's known as period. Okay, where we should use this punctuation mark, that is full stop. It's used at the end of declarative sentences and imperative sentences. First, we should know what declarative sentence is. Declarative sentence means a sentence that declares something or which gives some information. It is also known as assertive sentences. For example, I teach English. uh, this sentence declares something or gives information about me. So in this sentence, at the end of this sentence, we use a punctuation mark, that is full stop. Okay. Second is Delhi is the capital of India. At the end of a sentence, we use a punctuation mark, that is full stop. So in declarative sentence, we can use full stop. Now we know what a declarative sentence is. Now this full stop is also used with imperative sentence. Now what is an imperative sentence? Imperative sentences, uh, it means a sentence that expresses a command or request, advice, order, or suggestion. We can say those sentences in which we can give command, order, request, advice, or suggestion. For example, please come here. We're requesting someone, please come here, and at the end of the sentence, we use a punctuation mark, that is full stop or period. Second is you should obey your parents, that is an advice. We should obey our parents. So at the end of the sentence, we also use full stop. Now you know what an imperative sentence is and declarative sentence is. So in both these sentences, at the end of both these sentences, we use full stop. First use of full stop is that it's used at the end of a declarative and imperative sentences. Okay, got it? Second use of full stop is that it is used after abbreviations and initials. But before uh, before going to define what is an abbreviation, we should know what is an abbreviation, initialism, and acronyms. You should know the difference between these three types of abbreviations. And what is an abbreviation, initialism, and acronyms. So we will first start with the acronyms. Acronym is a word formed from the initial letter or first letter of each word. It can be written in capitalized letters and can be pronounced as a word. For example, ASP. It is a short form of, it is an acronym of as soon as possible, right? ASP is formed from the initial letters of this phrase, as soon as possible. Second is AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. PIN, personal identification number. So in acronyms we don't use full stop, right? But we should know that while discussing initialism we should also know what an acronym is. Acronym is the initial letter or the first letter of each word and can be pronounced as a word. Okay, that's known as acronym. Second is initialism. Now initialism, it is just like acronym, means formed from the initial letter or letters or first letter of each word, but it can't be pronounced as a word. Like acronyms were pronounced as a word, but initialisms are not pronounced as a word. Instead, you have to say the individual letter, or we pronounce each letter individually. For example, USA, United States of America. Okay, U full stop S full stop A, United States of America. MA, Master of Arts. CEO, Chief Executive Officer. But nowadays we can also write initialism without a full stop. Like I have written USA MA CEO. It totally depends upon you. You can use a full stop or period in initialism, or it's up to you. Third is abbreviation. What is an abbreviation? Now, abbreviation. Abbreviation is any shortened form of a word, or it usually have a few letters of a single word combined and stand in place of a longer word. For example, telephone number. In place of telephone number, I have written tel, full stop, number, no, full stop. Telephone number. Teaspoon. I have written it in short form, that is TSF, TISP, and at the end of this word I have used a full stop. So in abbreviations we use, after abbreviation we use full stop. Uh, but while in it is written, it is used in written English. While when we say, okay, we use these types of abbreviations only in written, in written form or in writing. But we say the full word when we speak them. But one more thing you have to keep in mind, that do not use the full stop if the abbreviation ends in the same letter. For example, like doctor, dr, we can't use full stop after r. Okay, in British English we use British English, while we don't use the full stop if the abbreviation ends in the same letter. Like doctor, it starts with d and ends with r. In short form or in abbreviation form we write dr. So in this form, we can't use a full stop at the end of this abbreviation. Second word is Mr. Master. It starts with M and ends with R. So abbreviation form is that MR. So we don't use an abbreviation at the end of. We don't use full stop at this at the end of this abbreviation. Okay. Second thing is that in American English we use full stop after abbreviation. Uh, whether it is whether the abbreviation ends in the same letter or not. But in British English we don't use the full stop after the abbreviation ends in the same letter. Okay, so now in this video we have discussed a punctuation mark, that is a full stop or period. uh, if you have any queries or questions regarding this, you can write me in the comment box, write down, And in next video we will inshallah learn the remaining punctuation mark. Thank you.